The next stage is stage 3. During this stage, there was moderate growth of population. Countries move from stage 2 to stage 3 when the crude birth rate begins to drop sharply. They continue to fall in stage 3, but at a much slower rate. Population continues to grow because birth rate is still greater than the death rate. More modest, however, because the gaps narrows during this period. European and North American countries generally moved from stage 2 to stage 3 during the first half of the 20th century. Most countries in Asia and Latin America have moved to stage 3.
However, most African countries remain in stage 2. During stage 3, the birth rate changes due to changes in social customs. A society enters stage 3 when people choose to have fewer children. This is partly a reaction to the lessening of infant mortality. People are more likely to live in cities during stage 3 rather than in the countryside. This leads to smaller homes, which means less room for children and large families. Citizens are also more likely to work in offices, shops, or factories rather than on farms during this stage. When England entered stage 3, their crude birth and death rates changed little. The birth rate was equal to 33 per 1,000 children, and the death rate was equal to 19 per 1,000. Population increased from 26 million to 49 million during this time. This is an increase of 0.7% each year.
The next stage is stage 4. During this stage, there is low growth in the population. Countries enter stage 4 when the crude birth rate declines to where it equals the crude death rate. The natural increase equals 0. This means that there is 0 population growth. Social customs explain the movement. This is because women start to enter the workforce and take birth control to have fewer children, to also have more time for other activities. Some countries have negative natural increases, which means the number of deaths exceeds the number of births.
England entered stage 4 due to communist rule. Higher deaths and not enough pollution control caused this. During this time, the crude birth rate was equal to 12 to 14 per every 1,000, and the crude death rate was equal to 10 to 12 per every 1,000. More women were entering their childbearing years, and the population continued to grow by 3 million because of immigration. I know we have talked for the last 7 minutes about the falling birth rate. After all of this, you may be wondering what happens if the birth rate continues to fall. Well, I have an answer for you. Human geographers hypothesize there will be a 5th stage added to the demographic transition model in the near future. This stage will occur when the crude death rate surpasses the crude birth rate. This causes a loss to the overall population and thus a negative natural increase rate. The negative natural increase rate is not an immediate effect, however. Based on demographic momentum, it will take a generation or 2 before a negative population growth rate is observed. Human geographers are uncertain as to if people are persuaded by the high cost of raising a family in cities or the enticing opportunities of employment to delay childbearing. What they do know is that whatever it is causing the crude birth rate to fall well below the replacement level in some countries. One of the most infamous acts associated with population planning is China's one-child policy. Since its implementation in 1979, China has not only witnessed a decline in birth rate, but also a real demographic challenge, a gender imbalance, which is likely to lower the birth rate even further in the future. These social and political elements are not factored into the DTM equation, but both have consequential impacts on total population. In recent years, a few countries, primarily in Eastern and Southern Europe, have reached a negative rate of natural increase as their death rates are higher than their birth rates. Possible examples of stage 5 countries are Croatia, Estonia, Germany, Greece, Japan, Portugal, and Ukraine. I hope during the last few minutes you have learned something about the demographic transition model. Thanks for listening.
Created using Powtoon.